Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. We'll see if anybody comes and joins me. We might have some interesting lighting today because the air outside is very smoky due to our fires here just a few miles away from me. Guess I should put a note out someplace. You know what? We'll just see if anybody shows up. I'm not sure. I still have all my studio packed, so I was kind of looking around at what was left behind to try and decide what I might want to play with. And I was watching Annalie from Sweden yesterday, and she was making some cute little, they're little fabric cluster kind of things that you could just use as they were, or they could become a tuck spot or a belly band or something. And I remembered I had all of these. When you get the fabric samples from the upholstery shops, they're glued to something, and this part usually never comes off really well for me, but I thought it was nice and sturdy and it might make some good tags and things. So we'll try this. If it doesn't work, then I will do something else, because I actually had another idea too. But it's kind of looking through here to find some things that appealed to me. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Karen from Wales. Thanks for joining me today. I'd like to have some distractions while the guys are fighting fires, and there will be some construction noise. There's a couple guys working just outside my window here, but hopefully it won't be too bad. The trouble with having a good microphone is it picks up all that good stuff for you, whether you want it to or not. So Canada and Wales. Nice. Well, I am here in Central California, and we have got the huge CZU wildfires going on right now, which is not a lot of fun. And we are, our little corner, eastern corner of town, is the only part of town that has not been evacuated. So all our stores are closed, all the businesses are closed, but we're still here. Luckily, we were pretty well stocked up, and we can go through the back roads to get to the nearby town. I'm just picking stuff that looks like it might be interesting. I don't know. I've never made things like this before. I work a little differently, and so I'm really trying to push myself outside my comfort zone. Hey, Debbie. Yeah, Karen, it's scary, and they're just so understaffed because there's so many fires going on all over California right now. I just read this morning that I think 7 trucks came all the way from New Jersey out here. 7 trucks and 9 guys, or fighters, I shouldn't say guys because I have no idea, came to help, which was really great. Not thinking blue, so we're going to toss those back over. So what I was thinking is I was just going to add a bunch of lace just to kind of dress these up. And then what I saw Annalie do was she was just kind of putting them on like sideways, and they became tuck spots and stuff. Yeah, there was a horrible fire in California, in Paradise, California, farther north from me last year, and it wiped out the whole town, which is what's got all of us very, very nervous here, of course. And it's scary. It's scary because it happens so fast, and we can sit here and say, well, it would have to go through this fire, would have to go through town to get to us. But knowing the experience of the Paradise Fire and how fast that went, it's a very real possibility, especially if there was a shift in the weather and things got even crazier. So we just, we're all packed, and our clothes and important papers are in the car in case we have to go. And we do have a place to go because my in-laws live on the other side of the mountain. So we would be able to, be away from everything. These look like they would be good tags, don't they? They might be a little long. How long are they? Hey, Shelby. Yeah, fire, they are 19% contained today. They're feeling pretty good about what they're doing. I guess, yeah, maybe we'll cut off just a little bit. They're going to set some backfires today to try and meet the burn and kind of let it stop onto itself. I'm going to try something I haven't done before. Don't you guys love it when I do that right there in front of you and you can see me succeed or fail? I saw Annalie from Sweden do some cute little tuck spots or belly bands or whatever you want to use them for the other day, and I'm going to try and I have a huge bag of these things left from, you know, when you get upholstery samples and they've got the glue things on them. But they're kind of stiff, so I thought they might make some good things. Wow, I can't cut straight, but that's no surprise. Little pieces like this. Okay, these scissors are no good. I think we established that last week that those scissors were no good. It's kind of thick. I'm not going to be able to, I don't know if I can sew through these on the sewing machine. Maybe I can. I mean, there's a lot of glue in there though. So I don't know if that would be good for my needle. Maybe I'll think about doing some hand sewing. But, you know, maybe I don't need to sew. Maybe, wow, I cannot cut straight to save my life here. All right. Yeah. We're going to pretend this is somewhat straight. Hey, Liz. Yeah, the thing about the fire for me is just that uneasy feeling that you have that just never goes away. Okay, that'll be a good tab. And dress it up a little bit. Has anybody sewn through the glued part of your upholstery material? And I'm just thinking, yeah, obviously I did not do these very straight when I took them off. But if I dressed up the front and then I put some tea-dyed paper on the back, these could be some tags. I'm just, you know, I'm not unpacking. I will not unpack my stuff until the rest of my town, when they lift the evacuation orders and the rest of everybody comes back to town, then I will think about unpacking. So, hey Vicki, how you doing today? Loved your video, absolutely loved it. I think, yeah, I pressed send on my comment. My brain is just sort of kind of there. It's not real there. I'm liking the idea of tabs. Those will be really easy, won't they? I have no idea. I'm just like all over the place. Oh, here's a question for you guys. Okay. A long time ago, I bought a grab bag of a bunch of wool roving, which is awesome. And I got a bunch of great colors, but I also got a bunch of colors like this that are not something in the palette that I work with. And I want to dye it. So this is wool roving that's already been dyed. What do you guys think I could use with the wool roving to dye it? My alcohol ink, should I make some stuff with my ink tints? Is it gonna get all glommy, you know, when I wet it? Oh, I need to put down a plastic thing so I don't totally ruin. And I'm gonna apologize right now for being all over the place. This is a distraction and, oh good, the workers I think went out to lunch, so we'll have a little bit of quiet. Yeah, I don't know if I want a chance sewing through it. Oh, or maybe I'll just sit here and fondle material and chat, you know? It's just really, when I brought my stapler out, because I was thinking I could maybe just staple tabs. Did I put, and what did I do? I lost my staples. Okay. There should be two things of staples. Here is one. There should be another thing of staples on my desk somewhere that I probably buried with lace when I dumped it out. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Two things of staples. Yeah, I can see the neighbor's house across the street right now, so the visibility is a little bit better. The air quality is better than it has been, but not as good as it should be. How's that for? My husband is outside doing some yard work with a really heavy-duty mask on, and because he was furloughed this week from his job, so it's like, well, boy, he had all these plans of all the stuff he wanted to do, and since we're still here, he figured, all right, so if I'm doing a tab, do you do lace on one side? I've never done tabs in my books, but I thought I would play with it. Do I do lace on just one side, or do I put lace on both sides? And do we like a tab that is left open and then we can put on here? Or I guess if we do it, I guess it depends on what kind of tab I do, huh? So if I do one that's just lace on one side, I would just glue that to the thing. Let's see. Oh, and for all of you, make sure you're on live chat and not top chat so you get all the stuff you want. All right, I was going to do tabs with something else. Now I just remembered that. But where is the something else material? People, I am so distracted. Okay. So here is the other material. I had some stuff like this that I knew I could glue and sew through. Maybe even some of this. All right, I want to start with something easy because I don't know how my brain's going to work. Both sides, yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. So I'm going to do something easy first because I need to get in the zone here. So if we do a tab like that, and then all I can do is I can use a little bit of glue stick to cover that, and then later I can go in and sew it, and then that'll be ready to go. Yeah, okay, I like that idea. And then there'll be stuff on both sides. And then I'll tackle the other things because I really don't know that I can sew through that upholstery stuff. And I knew I would hit something with my glue right away, see? Everything I do lately, because of this stupid fire, is just slow motion. You just sort of, you're not really sure, just not really sure what to do. I don't want to cover everything, just some. Just to hold stuff enough to get in there and sew. And I just have all these little lace scraps, I just way too much shopping. I did way too much shopping. Oh, and speaking of shopping, so of course, because of the fire, there's no mail delivery right now. And all our mail is being held at another post office, but they said that you can only go down and pick up letter mail, which we really don't get a lot of letter mail because we do all our bill paying online. But I have packages. I have so many packages that were coming. I had like 5 coming from eBay. I had like 3 coming from Etsy. I had something coming from Sweden. Oh dear. Phone. Sorry, had to gauge at the phone to make sure it wasn't any kind of an emergency number. But it was one of those where you can tell right away that it's going to be a spam call. So I did not feel obligated to answer it. Yeah, this will be a real random sort of video with, subject to who knows what kind of changes. I'm sure in the comments after I post it, I'll get all kinds of, why did you do this? And why didn't you do that? And how come you're, whatever. Right now we're just trying to stay safe. So yeah, so I've got packages that are who knows where. My one from Russia that says, it's ready to be picked up, except the post office says, don't come down here to pick up packages because we can't find any packages right now. All right, and then I think what I will do is when I get to the point of actually sitting down at the sewing machine, you know, then I can add some other stuff, but I'm not going to try and glue that on now. I like this idea. I like this idea a lot of tabs. And you'll see it on both sides. I can add a little bit of this net right down here. Yeah, I don't know why I haven't done tabs before, but it needs a little something there that's different. Okay, this I literally, you know, last night I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, which is pretty normal for me to get up, go to the bathroom, come back to bed, and then I was wide awake, and then I fell into this deep sleep for like an hour before I got up and had just horrific dreams, which I am glad to have behind me. And so I'm even more odded out than usual. Let's see. Yeah, and when I see tabs in other people's journals, I like them. And it's like, why haven't I been doing that? I don't know. All right, which way? It's been very interesting. You know, when I packed the studio, whoops, let's see, that's not going to go the right way. I want to do this way. I packed up the studio a few days ago. Well, it was hard to even get to the point to pack the studio because I'm like, okay, well, we've got all our important papers, we've got all our medicines, we've got all our photos, we've got our clothes. And then my husband's like, well, you know, your car is empty and you haven't packed the studio. And I felt weird. I don't know why. I mean, because for me, this is a must-have. I have to have my stuff to create. And he, you know, he kept saying, you know, look, if I have my computer and I have the internet, I can continue to work. He says, you need your supplies. And so then you start looking around, because as some of you know, I've got a massive studio space. I'm very fortunate. But you start looking around and think, well, what do I take? What do I leave? You know, and remember all this big organizational stuff that I've been doing. Well, all of that is just a disaster zone now because everything's been torn up. So what did I do? How did I decide what to take? Well, of course, I took all my papers that I had either painted or dyed, or my leaf prints, my eco prints, all that kind of stuff. Zoe has an opinion. Zoe always has an opinion. I took all my expensive golden paints and texture pastes and all that kind of stuff because golden products are expensive. And, you know, I started thinking about, okay, we sort of packed with the idea that we would lose everything. You know, if you pack like you're going to lose everything and then you live while you're still here at home, like everything's going to be okay. And it's been very, very odd is the only thing I can say. So, yeah, there's bins all over the house with my stuff, you know, in it and half, you know, room left in case we had time to leave. But it's just, so you just kind of like unsettled. The whole day is just very, very unsettled. And you're kind of trying to figure out how you can, just how you go through the days. And like I said, the town is closed. There's only one way in and out of town to Santa Cruz and one way north to San Jose. So I'm glad we're stocked up and we don't have to go anywhere. And I am really, really glad that we have air conditioning because we live in a coastal town and it's not very common for us to have air conditioning here. There was another, I knew there was more stuff I brought out. Let's see how I can do this and hopefully not have a big old crash. Oh, see, and the reason I have a lot of this satin ribbon is because it doesn't really go. I really need to, you know, when this fire stuff is over with, let me tell you, I will be ready to do my de-stash sale. Okay, that's all small stuff to save when I sew. Let's get some more thingies out of here. So many different kinds of lace. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, so I can't concentrate on much of anything. said, I was glad to be able to, think of something to do today, because I really didn't have the mindset to do much of anything else. I watch videos and I forget what I've watched, and I'm watching every video 2 or 3 times because I can't remember what I just saw. Thank goodness we're not having any power outages up here at this moment, because that would stink, but we'll watch baseball. This is kind of nice. I love this. It makes me think, though, of a honeycomb, so maybe I should save it for my bee journal. All right, I'm rambling. It's like the not knowing. And I lived in New Orleans for a few years, which, of course, is getting ready to go through its own disaster, which is going to be horrific. And when I lived there for a few years, I grew up here in California, so I grew up thinking about earthquakes all the time. We were used to the fact that, an earthquake could come at any time. And they used to laugh at me there because I was just so afraid of the hurricanes, because you would get the warning that it was coming a few days ahead of time, and then, which gave you time to prep. And if you had to evacuate, you would have that time to evacuate. But it also was a lot of kind of like the impending, music on Jaws, where you would it's getting closer and closer. And it's that same sort of a feeling like, okay, the fire's, like I said, it's about 4 miles away from us right now. And there's no reason to believe that it's going to, manage to get to our side of things. But if the winds shift, stuff carries. And you just don't know you just don't know. I know, I'm going to repeat myself a lot. I'm sorry. It's going to be a rambling kind of day. You guys are my distraction today. Hey, Lorna. Yeah, I had a slow morning, so I didn't get over to text you until the last minute. Sorry about that. Yeah, I want to do some dyeing, except that I don't want to go outside and deal with the smoke. I think tabs was a good choice. I want to do something with that other stuff, but I think I'm going to want to sew the tabs, and if I just do them on nice normal fabric, it'll be easy to go through and sew them. After a while, all the lace kind of starts to look the same. So tell me what you guys are working on today. Who's doing what? Lorna's doing coffee dyeing. Who else is doing stuff today? Liz, what are you going to do on your show today? Well, Debbie, we're in a neighborhood, but everybody's on about, I don't know, about a half-acre lot. I don't know what that translates to you guys. So it's like I can, we have a street where we can see neighbors, and that's good. And we've all kind of talked about how we want to proceed, should things happen that we need to do anything about. But the thing is we're in the mountains, and the roads are so many of the roads are so steep, we've got hills and everything. So they're having, the guys are already understaffed trying to fight this, and then, trying to deal with the terrain. It's just really rough going for them. I'm probably putting a gazillion too many pieces on here, but I don't care. Hey, Auntie Loopy. Yeah, when you think about how close it is like that, I mean, I have friends out in the area that have been evacuated, and, it's, I don't know, it's like a 10-minute drive to get to them. And, okay, they're coming out a lot fatter, but it's going to be okay, right? These will be fine. They'll be cute little tabs, little bits of lace, and what I'm attaching them to really doesn't matter. That was where I wanted my other stash. There was some ribbon. I can use some of that as a base. So yeah, and it's hard. I mean, I hear people you know, because we've got all the neighborhood groups and what have you talking about it all the time and keeping each other updated. And for the people that have had to evacuate, my heart goes out to them. I mean, especially if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're trying to figure out, you know, how are you going to get a hotel room? And I mean, there's only so many hotel rooms around, you know, within an easy driving distance. And then if you work in an area where you could still go to work, but you have to go through the evacuation zone, they're not letting people through. So, I mean, we are really, really fortunate that both that my husband works from home and that that we haven't had to evacuate. You know, it would be, I mean, even though we would have a place to go, but I have friends that, you know, they took their son back to college up north, so they're out of the area. Some other friends are just at the other end of, you know, the coast, so they're safe. But, you know, and then there's a lot of problem with looting. You know, the first few days, people were like, you know, oh, I'm just going to pretend like I live here and go sneak back in and, you know, steal stuff. And people are, oh, I can't believe people do that. I shouldn't be surprised, but, you know, it still always surprises me when people are cruel like that. All right. This is so out of my comfort zone, guys. I cannot tell you how much out of my comfort zone this is. I'll probably feel better when I can sew some threads over the top of them, right? Susan, you love snippets too. Yeah, I always love them when I look at them in other people's videos, and I honestly do not know why I have, well, because I've been doing botanical stuff, and I think then when I start to use these in journals, then if I add some of my leaves and twigs and moss, I can make them look a little bit more like they belong in the forest. Or it might be that I just put in my eco prints. You know, this week I was going to dye paper and do eco printing, but the smoke is so bad that I don't want to be outside. Even Zoe, you know, she went out because my husband was going to move some wood chips, and she went out with them, and then she was very happy to come back inside after about 10 minutes. So the fact that she doesn't want to stay outside tells me something. All right, I think these are going to be fine. I need more thin material rather than this thick stuff. All right, let's see. If we do semi-straight line, big tab, little tab. It's kind of a nice length, I think. So this came on like a package or something, so it's too short to really use as a tie, but it makes a nice base. And I could just, like, you know, cover this whole thing with lace, and maybe I'll do that with the other piece and make it more like a snippet thing. Yeah, I bought so much lace from thrift stores and antique shops and removed it from clothing. And then I realized it's not the type of journals that I make that use a lot of it. So I really need to push myself outside of my comfort zone here. So I want to know how many of you have checked out Tracy Fox's brand new digital magazine called The Foxy Rag. It is a really, really fun digital magazine that she started, and it's got some interviews and some projects and some usable elements that you can use in your own stuff. And there's even a thing about me in there, which is really cool. And she's got a website for it just called The Foxy Rag. You can go check it out, and it's very reasonably priced to download. Hey, Vicki. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Vicki. Tell Lori I said hi right back to her. I'm going to sneeze. Because, of course, in the middle of all this, we have, excuse me, sinus and allergy stuff. Yeah, I was featured. I was very, very lucky, and hopefully my story is a little bit inspiring to people. You'll have to go read it to get the magazine to check it out. All right. I think too much about everything, and I have to tell myself it's okay. I'm just enjoying the process. There's nothing wrong with enjoying the process. To this. All right. Let's just get. See, and each time you cut these things smaller, and then there's still stuff left over. My goodness. This is why scraps multiply while we're sleeping. They really do. Am I still? Suddenly I remembered to look at the camera and make sure you guys can even see what I'm doing. Not like it's earth shattering, but really, I needed the companionship today. Oh, thanks, Vicki. And hi to Vicki at Messy Table Studio. It was fun to interview her. I used to do a lot of interviewing of writers back in my writing days, and I did a lot of editors and stuff like that, and it was a lot of fun coming up with questions that, will make them think. If everything was an easy question to answer, you wouldn't learn as much about the person. So it's really fun to try and challenge them to come up with, to have to think about their answers a little bit. Oh, wow, I took the Sudafed and it's sort of helping, but man, my head is still pounding. And I know the smoke does not help. I've only gone out, I've been out twice today with Zoe. But I know, like I said, if she doesn't even want to be out there, it's bad. I wish my husband wouldn't be out there working, but. Yeah, exactly. Scrap busting means making more scraps. Oh, Karen, congratulations on getting some poetry published. I got a royalty check the other day for some poems that were published and republished, which was really a lot of fun. It's always nice to get a check in the mail. Well, a virtual check in the mail. Yeah, and COVID poetry is a thing. I'm trying to think about how I might do something creative to help when the fire stuff is passed. I'm not quite sure what that would look like, but I am thinking about it. Oh man, my head. Let's see. Cut more than I need, and then if I need to swap it around, I can. Because yeah, after a while, this all looks the same. Get all these little pieces. Yeah, geez. One tiny piece, another tiny piece, yet another tiny piece. I just heard an alert, so I need to check my phone again. I didn't bring it over. Okay, no emergency alert, so we are okay. Anything else can wait until I'm done here. Yeah, the micro scraps, absolutely. And I actually had a plan for micro scraps. I've seen some really neat things done with them, but that would involve my soluble interfacing, and that is packed with all my good expensive stuff. Oh well. I just knew I couldn't think of, couldn't work on actual journal. It's probably just as well that my other stuff was packed, because doing actual journal stuff right now I don't think would work for me. I just don't have the bandwidth in my brain at the moment. Yeah, and I'll feel better about these when I add my little threads, because that's kind of my thing. I love the threads. I don't know why, but I do. Yeah, okay. And I suppose I don't need to cover every square inch, except I feel compelled to cover every square inch. Which I guess could be worse. Now, sounds like the guys are back, so we might hear some going of the saw in the background. They are putting the tile in the sunroom. You know, this is one of the areas they could actually come work in while stuff was going on. Our contractor and his son-in-law, who's running his crew right now, were both evacuated. So it's nice to be able to give them a little something to do, keep working. Just realized I'm doing all these neutrals on top of the green. I should have been doing my green laces on top of the green, but see, when I'm done, I can do something like that on top of it. It's good enough, right? It's good enough. I need to say good enough. Oh yeah, you're gonna have some bad rain there, I bet, Vicki. I was looking in the areas that I used to live in Louisiana and looking to see what friends I had still in that area that I'd have to be worried about. Brenda, I end up with the same thing. You know, I'll watch somebody do something. It's like, oh, that looks so cool, and I'm going to do it too. And then I finish it, and I'm like, wow, so-and-so really did a much better job than I did. But we need to not be so hard on ourselves because, you know, somebody's probably watching your video and saying, wow, I wish I could have done that like she did because hers came out great and mine not so much. Vicki, did you ever get your flooded area, you know, your area that floods every time it rains, taken care of? I mean, are you going to have problems with that with this coming storm? Zoe wants to know too. Zoe, come on, you know who's there. She is. She knows the guy is working, but she forgets sometimes, I guess. I don't know. I did throw away a lot of stuff when I was cleaning the studio. I threw away a lot more than I expected I would throw away, and it felt good. It felt good to clean that kind of stuff out. But there's always so much more. I mean, like if I was at the end of the day, I probably wouldn't save something like this, but I just cut it for that, and that's okay. See, Zoe wants to go out there and nuzzle one of the guys. She absolutely loves my contractor's son-in-law, but the other guy that's helping him is very much afraid of dogs, so we keep Zoe away from him because, you know, no need to make anybody that's already afraid feel even more afraid. And I know she doesn't help matters when she stands there at the door and barks like crazy. All right, that'll hold it enough to get some stitches in. I guess I wasn't supposed to, it doesn't matter if I'm going over the edges, right? It doesn't matter. I can do them my way. It doesn't matter. I will post at least on Instagram and Facebook what these look like after I sew them. I have to put my sewing machine back together again since I had unplugged everything and had it all ready to go in the car. I don't even want to think about how long it's going to take me to put the studio back in order again. Oh, just the thought of it just sort of makes me go, it makes me cringe. It really does. I bet I won't like it if I stay right on the edges, huh? I'm going to want to be a little bit of a rebel and go outside the lines. Yep. Who wants to stay within the lines? Not me. This one, let's just put a little something under it. Can trim that. No, that wasn't quite the plan, but okay. Let's see. We need more glue. Oh, so it's only an inch of rain your way. That's good. That's good. Yeah, my husband's boss, since they all work digitally or remotely, just moved like last year, moved to Texas, and I had to stop and look up where she's at. But she's in Hayes County, so she should be far enough away to not have an issue to worry about. But my old boss, when I lived in New Orleans, lives in Lake Charles, and I know they're going to get hit hard, as is Homa, which is where another guy I worked with lives, still lives with his family and grandkids and stuff. Okay, it's a good thing the glue stick is only temporary. My British geography is not good at all. I'll have to look you guys up when we're done. Zoe, it's okay. You'll see him later. The guys always make sure they come in to say goodbye to Zoe, though, when they're done, which is really cute. Because it's not like she gets any love from us at all, right? She's ignored all day long. Such a silly girl. I had to go digging through all the stuff to find her medicine. Since we were still here, I'd packed all her stuff. She's been having a weird stomach lately, so I don't know if, while we've been outside, if she's been sneaking over to eat something that she shouldn't, which is usually what she does. I need something different in this little corner. That is the same thing I have there, so I'm just going to put it right there. These big tabs are big, huh? Obviously not an experienced tab maker. That's what we can say. Not an experienced tab maker. And yesterday, we were doing some things out in the yard because the air quality was really, really nice. So we're doing a little bit out in the yard. My husband was hitting the weed whacker, pulling all the grasses back from the main path. And he took the top off a yellow jacket nest, which we knew we had one around because we've got traps set and we've been catching so many with the traps, but we could not find the nest. And I don't know how he managed to not get stung, but he did not get stung. We were so grateful. So he went out last night and sprayed it, and this morning, it's a huge nest. It's in one of my hugel beds, and now they're coming out the other end of the nest, so he'll go back out tonight and do some more. All right. Not sure how I feel about the green showing through. It'll be okay if I put green on top, right? If I add some green threads, I'll tie it in. I'll make it work. I'll make it work. Oh, local lockdown. Ugh. Yeah, that's the other thing I worry about. All these people that have had to go stay in hotels because of the fires, and it's going to be the same thing when the hurricane hits Louisiana and Texas. They're going to have to go stay in hotels, and then we've got more COVID issues coming up. So that's a little scary. Could use some bigger pieces and it wouldn't take as long, right? Although everything's going to take me longer right now. That is just going to be the way it is while this stuff's going on. My phone is sure busy today. Nothing that I have to handle, though. I'm going to bet this little stuff is not going to, it's kind of stiff. It came from some kind of lace. Oh, maybe it'll stay enough that I can do something with it. All right, I think now I'm kind of getting the urge to do an actual snippet thing, like a long one. Maybe I'll use one of those pieces of green ribbon for that. Don't have any of this. Yeah, these pieces, they just keep getting smaller and smaller. Get that glue. Well, I sure hope all the journals that are coming in, because I had gotten excited and ordered myself for my birthday last month. I'd ordered a bunch of journals, and they're coming in and they're sitting hopefully in the post office waiting for me to pick them up. We'd be really sad if they're not. I mean, in the giant scheme of things, of course, it's not a big deal because we still have our home and our health, but I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting them. And I had some supplies too. I had ordered, there is a farm I think it's in Utah. It's a preservation farm for butterflies and other insects. And so the creatures are raised there on the farm and they die there on the farm. And they had a bunch of, then they sell the butterfly wings, real butterfly wings. And I had ordered some of those to use in an upcoming project. So hopefully I don't get too beaten up running around the post office. And our generator, which is supposed to be here today or tomorrow, will be sitting down at the UPS station waiting for us, which is fine since the electrician can't get out here to do the install that he needs to do for us. Because we're not even in our major fire season yet. Our major fire season is actually September and October. So expect that more things are going to happen and we're going to have the planned power outages to conserve power and all that good stuff, or not so good stuff, but stuff that has to happen. I should call you Victoria and then Vicky is Messy Tables, and then I can keep you guys separate when you guys are both here. I know I call you different things. It's because several people, somebody had posted, oh, maybe it was Tracy had said something about you and said had said your name in something, and it was, she called you Vicky, and I'm like, oh, it took me a minute to figure out who it was. So then that was still in my name. That name was still in my brain. Okay. This little guy is stiff, so he needs a lot of glue. If I could get the hang of this and use up a lot of my little scraps doing this, that would make me happy. I go back and forth between feeling like I should only make stuff that I would be using in my journal, but then I realize there are different styles of things that people like, and I can put them in my shop or in the live sale, which, yeah, I think September is going to be a live sale kind of month. And something right there. Yep, I just keep making more teeny tiny scraps. That one doesn't want to stay. Took me a while to dig through the boxes and find my glue sticks because I had packed all my glue sticks, but they at least were still in the boxes in the house because I knew if I put them out in the car, they would melt. All right, let's see if we can do one that's longer. It's not going to be a super long snippet roll. It'll just be something like this. It's funny, my name, I was born Susan, but over the years, there are people that have called me Susan, people that have called me Sue, people that have called me Suzanne, and certain people that call me Susie. And I've never been a Susie, but there are just certain people that just pick a name and say that's who it is. Yeah. Got to be careful who you're talking. People know who you're talking about. They think something else is going on. All right. Let's see if I don't think it matters, but that's the right side. A whole lot of glue down here. I'm very excited that they're putting the tile in though, because after the tile, then comes the electrical, and then comes the paint, and then the last big project on the inside of the house is done. Ooh, that's way more glue than I need. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff to be done here, and we've still got to get the hearth in on the fireplace, and we've got to get a mantle thing figured out and other odds and ends, but we are getting close to the end, which is really exciting. All right. I'm guessing when you do a snippet, you just sort of start putting stuff down and see where it takes you, right? You share them with Penny, yeah. When my husband and I were first dating, we had this thing about, I said he was my best friend, and, I wanted him to say that I was his best friend too, and he wouldn't do it. He said I wasn't his best friend. He had a best friend that he'd had, since like junior high or something, and that I could be his soulmate, but that I was not his best friend. And so now it's become like a standing joke, well, it's not like I'm your best friend or anything. I mean, I'm totally very, very well loved. It's just become a standing joke around the house here. And his best friend is a very good guy, and we're just different kinds of friends. Those of you that are here, anybody leaves a thumbs up, I am very grateful for those. I appreciate the thumbs up. I actually go back and look. Oh my goodness, Zoe is she's going to be so tired. She tires herself out when she does this kind of crazy barking all over the place. She just really gets excited. Oh, it looks like she's going to get to go outside for a little bit, so that'll be good for her. Well, if you do a snippet roll like this, it does tend to use up a lot of these little micro scraps, doesn't it? This is so out of my comfort zone. I cannot tell you how much out of my comfort zone this is. Wow. This is just to hold it until I get to the sewing machine. That's all. I don't want to do anything any thicker than this, so it's perfect for, until I get to the sewing machine, and then I can stitch all over the place. But since I'm not exactly sure where my sewing machine cords are right now, the machine itself is at my feet, but I put the cords in a box, to be packed to go, and I don't know where that is. So I'll have to dig that out later. Did not have time this morning to try and find it. I'm glad that one of the things we did with the clothes is we packed enough clothes for a couple weeks and then made sure we had enough of everything here at home so that we could go for like a week without having to do laundry every other day. So I would hate to have to go dig through all the suitcases to find stuff too. I guess this is what a snippet roll looks like. I don't know. Like I said, never done one before, so. Hi, Peg. Happy to see you here. How are you doing? We are hanging in with the fires. We are hanging in. We are grateful they're not getting any closer. And we are hoping that there's no great big wind shifts coming. That is all about us right now. This just feels really strange, like I should be paying more attention to composition or something, and I guess you just don't do that with something like this. But it's good to stretch yourself outside of your comfort zone. Good to do different things and kind of see where they take you. New car. Awesome. What kind of car are you getting? Gosh, that reminds me, I need to go out and start my car and make sure it starts because it hasn't been driven for a while. I would like a new car, not because I drive that much, but because my current car, which is wonderful and doesn't have many miles on it, it's a little Honda Coupe, and it's so low to the ground. And now as I get older, I would really like to have something that was a little taller. And living here in the mountains, I would really like to have something that was a little better equipped for going along the mountain roads. Oh, nice. tracks, yeah. All right, we need something different. Okay, I can see the appeal of the snippet roll. I can totally see putting some of my other little colored threads down the center, so that'll be good to sew on later today. I can definitely see that. And I'm guessing that's what one looks like. Like I said, we've not done this before, so this is uncharted territory. Might turns out that I absolutely love doing them. I don't know. Is everything almost covered? Almost. And yeah, the glue is just to hold things until I get to the sewing machine. Oh, it looks pretty good. Yeah, so then I'll probably put some brown thread in this, and I'll go up and down it a bunch, and then I'll add some of my other things. Let's get this out of the way. Oh, wow, I've been yakking for an hour already. Really? Okay, so maybe, I know I've got more ribbons and stuff, so I just had more ribbon out. What did I do with the rest of the ribbon? Nope, I let it drop. All right, we have more ribbon. Let's see what we can do with more ribbon. Yeah, you know, and if I took, I don't have any of it right here, but I do think if I took, whoops, somebody wants some more glue. If I took my moss and some little leaves and went down the center with it, I could make it look like my nature journals. Maybe some bark. All right, see the glue, you jinxed me, Vicki. I told you how the glue would hold. All right, let's do another one of these. Oh, my eyes are burning. I think I will probably just straight stitch, like, you know, snaky lines all over it, just so that way I can cut it however I want and not worry about it coming too unraveled. I keep thinking I'm going to get to the point where I've got stuff that I was just going to sit here and do some little slow stitching on, but that has not been the case. All right. I'm liking finding a use for this because this was a great find. A lot of this lace. It's also a nice way to use up the polyester lace that, you know, doesn't dye real well. Did anybody answer my question earlier about I've got all this wool roving in some colors that don't work in my palette and I want to dye it some darker, more earthy colors? What would be the best dye to use on wool that's already been dyed? And any tips you guys might have? Hey, Emily. Way too long. Oh yeah, way too long for a belly band like it is, but you know, can be the idea of doing the snippet roll is, and you cut it the length that you want. That's why I really think when I saw Annalise do these little snippet things that were like this, and then she put them, if this was the page, instead of trying to do a full belly band kind of thing, she did them at an angle, and they made great little tuck spots. So but I think if I just don't think I should sew through this stuff with the glue from the upholstery book. So I'll need to use like my Fabri-Tac or something if I do those. Oh, way too long for Peg to get her internet back. Yeah, a month is a long time to go without the internet. When we lose our power for a week, that's too long. And then it usually takes longer than that to get back again because. I'm just really grateful with all this stuff that we haven't lost the fire or lost the power. some of my friends that have been evacuated, even if their area was safe, you know, from the fire, they can't go back right away because the water system structure has been compromised, and they're going to have to rebuild some of the water systems pipelines that have been completely destroyed in the fire. All right. So I'm going to guess it's probably going to be at least another week before the people right here in my town get to go in, and the people that are farther out, they're looking at probably a couple months before they get back home again, which makes me super, super grateful that we were not evacuated, and hopefully we will not have to be evacuated. Do I have any walnut? Oh, I've got some walnut ink crystals. That is a great idea. If I could turn all the colors that don't work for me brown, I would be super happy. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Peg. That's perfect. I have a big pile of walnut crystals that have not been used. Wow, I am just really all over the place here. The brain, she stops working so well in disasters, doesn't she? My goodness. Yeah, it's not cotton, it's actually wool. It's wool roving, you know, from a spinning wheel, and it's wonderful because you can, it's like, here's some small pieces of it, you know, and you pull it apart, and it just adds this great texture to things. But I had packed all my favorite colors because, of course, I didn't want to lose them, and then the ones that are still left here in the house are colors that I'm less likely to use, and I would like to dye them, but the walnut crystals are a perfect idea. I've got walnut ink at my fingertips, so thank you for that. So, you know, of course, packed, I've got all kinds of other stuff that I could use, but I'm just not in a hurry to unpack. It was so stressful packing, and it's going to be stressful unpacking, even though it means that we're staying, that I just think I'm not going to rush for it. I would love some brown and gray wool, Vicki. Absolutely. Yeah, it does. It looks kind of like candy floss or cotton candy here in the U.S. It's wonderful. A little goes a long way when you add to stuff. Fires, I think we're on day 7 now, at least in our area. I've just been concentrating on that. They are 19% contained at the moment. The last couple days, the elevation, like where we are at about 800 feet, they've been able to, they've been helped by some really good marine layers. So we were like at 90% humidity today, which was really good for them. The above 1,000 feet, they're not having quite as much luck with marine layers. And the last couple days, they've been able to get a full day's worth of fire drops in. I guess there's a limit as to how much the pilots can fly and how much water they can drop in a certain area. So they made some really good progress lately. Oh, awesome, Vicki! I would love some. I was looking at, of course, you start looking on Etsy. You start looking for one thing and you fall down the rabbit holes between Etsy and eBay, right? So I actually put in the search term, I think it was like unusual art materials. That'll take you some places, let me tell you. But I got this really cool stuff from Arizona, which I guess is really common there. It's the prickly pear cactus, I guess, when it dries out, and it just gives you this really neat kind of a, I can't even describe it. It's kind of like a filigree almost, and it's just kind of neat looking, and so I figured that would be good for something. So, of course, I had some of that. And then my bark, my wonderful friends that sent me, Terry sent me some big pieces of birch bark so I can do some wall hangings, and then another friend sent me some crepe myrtle bark. And then another friend collected some shavings from some drones, which we have in the area, but not in our yard. Yeah, only 19% is very low. And of course, nobody can go home until the containment has been there for 100% containment, well, in that particular area for 24 hours. And then again, the service restoration, because outside, our little city limits, there are a lot of places without water, without power, because, just the complete infrastructure has been destroyed. And I just can't believe they normally say they would have twice as many people fighting a fire of this size. So the fact that they're getting so much done with such few, such little manpower really says something. So is anybody working on Christmas projects yet or Halloween projects? I don't normally do holiday stuff, but it's fun watching and seeing what other people are doing. I was actually looking in the garage at all our holiday stuff and thinking, I need to de-stash all my holiday things because we don't decorate for the holidays anymore. Nobody comes to see us, so it's just the two of us. We have a tree made of driftwood, and we put that out, and I have a few ornaments that friends have sent me that I put on it, and that's enough. But I'm looking at the shelves in the garage, and I'm thinking, wow, there's like 6 shelves that we could get back if I de-stashed all the Christmas things. Or at least most of them. One of my kids doesn't want any of it. The other one probably wants it but doesn't have a place for it. You're crocheting Christmas gifts. Nice. Something different. What kind of things are you crocheting? And Vicki, you're doing what, a doodle challenge right now? Is that it? Are you guys going by colors, or what is your challenge entail? Bye, Debbie. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, Emily, I did. I was in Norfolk for, I guess, about a year and a half. Right outside the Navy base. It was, there was parts of Virginia that I thought were really, really pretty. And then from Virginia, went to New Orleans for a few years, and that was less pretty and less fun. Was happy to get back to California. All right, a few little holes here, but I think this is going to be good. Oh, wait a minute. You tube socks for the homeless. That's terrific. Thinking about what you could do for Christmas. Oh, hanging kitchen towels and dishcloths. That's nice. I saw those books you got. Those looked amazing. I'm so sad. I've got some great tree books that are waiting at the post office, but they told us don't even expect to get your packages for another couple weeks. It's just too much for them to try and sort right now. So we figure there's people that are waiting for their checks and stuff. There's no need for us to go down to the post office. We don't need to wait for anything like that. We'll just wait and see how things sort out when things are back to whatever passes for normal. No, I was married to a Navy guy for a short time, and so that's how I ended up in Virginia, and how I made it from Virginia to New Orleans, and that was an experience, shall we say? That's all I'll say about that. It was an experience. I had lived a pretty sheltered life until then. All right, is that pretty? That's pretty well covered until I go to sew. Yeah, I'm thinking these are okay. I can do something, especially with the green background. I can make them somehow kind of foresty when I use them. Even if I end up just cutting off, you know, pieces like this for tabs. I think this is going to be good. Hey, Mary. Happy to see you here today. How are you doing? Hydration. Hydration is good. Okay. Yeah, this is, I'm actually kind of looking forward to doing these on the sewing machine. So that's good. I can't even remember the last time I did any sewing. So that's good that I want to do that as soon as my eyes and my head calm down a little bit. New channels and new shops, which is something that, you know, if you are a fairly new YouTube channel or a new Etsy shop, you should go also, and the reason to go check out the Foxy Rag and get on Tracy's list, because she does want to, in future issues, introduce her audience to new to them people. This is just so weird to do this without a plan. I cannot tell you how bizarre this feels to just like do things willy-nilly. This is like not me, which is all the more reason I should be doing it, right? We should do something that's outside the comfort zone. Oh, which would be a whole lot easier if my head would quit pounding. All right, that is really good stuff. Sometimes, you know, you just save. I mean, look at this. Isn't this beautiful? It was white, and I dyed it, and I just love it. But it's a big piece, so I'm going to save that for something special. And this is some really nice cotton trim that I dyed. I'm going to save that too. And it's okay to decide to save things. Okay, Vicki, sweet dreams. Victoria. Yeah, there was, I loved being able to drive so close to the Chesapeake Bay and go down there and just watch the waves. The weather was kind of extreme compared to, you know, what I was used to in California. Zoe has a lot to say today. Sorry about that. Anybody that's listening to the recording later, Zoe has a lot of opinions. And, you know, I try not to curtail her barking much because she's doing her job. I mean, that's what you want a watchdog to do. And there has been, I mean, not up in our area, thank goodness, but the areas that have been evacuated, they have been having problems with looting. And they even had, I cannot believe it, one of the fire chief's trucks was parked at the base camp, or parked some, I'm sorry, I don't know if it was at the base camp. One of the fire chief's trucks was broken into, and all his stuff was stolen, and his wallet and his bank account was drained. It's like, come on, this guy's here, you know, helping us through a really hard time, and then you're going to go rip him off like that. So they're spreading his picture all over town because somebody caught him on one of their home surveillance cameras. So really hoping somebody locates the jerk. And they've arrested, you know, several looters. They might be up to like a dozen looters they've arrested now. So glad to hear that. Bad enough to be evacuated and possibly lose your home, and then, you know, have people come in and steal your stuff. Thanks, Victoria. Okay, Vicki, so your doodle challenge is to do stuff on black and tan tone paper. Ah. Do you go through a lot of Posca pens? I think I saw you mentioned using those. Do they go bad? Mine have been sitting in a drawer for so long. Maybe I should trade you Posca pens for wool. Okay, this one's going faster, right? I'm not thinking as much. I'm using up my pile of lace, even though there's a great big old tub of lace right next to me, so there's a lot more to use up. I can see the appeal. How are the doggies, Vicki? Okay, more water, Susan, more water. I may not have a voice when this is over, but that's okay. I've had a nice distraction today. All right, just a couple little bits. Maybe we want to add this. Probably not enough glue. Everything's going to need more glue now. It's dried out. When Zoe has it, oh, I just cut myself. Good one. Well, those scissors are nice and sharp. Ouch, 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 ouch. All right, we may be cutting this a little short to go get a Band-Aid. Ooh, I do not need to doubt those scissors. Wowzers. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to need to go get a Band-Aid. I will be right back, folks. Talk amongst yourselves. Well, on the plus side, I did not bleed all over my lace, so that's good. Well, Vicki, I might need to chat with you about, like I said, a swap, because I think I have, oh wow, that's a lot of blood. Okay, it's not ready to stop yet. Just a minute here. I have a lot of Posca pins, and I don't think I'm using them. Well, I used to do art journaling, and that's when I used to use the Posca pins. And I used to try and do more doodles and stuff, but I don't do that now, which is why as I was doing the studio clean out, I'm thinking, do I really need to keep these? Maybe I shouldn't keep them. And I just, okay, how can you put a Band-Aid on and miss the cut completely? Wow, that was a neat trick. All right, good thing I brought out two Band-Aids. Pardon me while we do a little first aid here. Yeah, I'm okay. I snipped the skin of my finger pretty good with the, what apparently is very sharp scissors. And, all right, there's the cut. And get a tight Band-Aid on there so I can get that bleeding to stop. All right, let's see if we can do the rest of this without any more injuries. I don't know. I might cut it quick if I need to go do something else. Oh, and the contractor needs me, so I'll be right back, guys. Just a sec.
Ready?
Oh, just a sec. Wait. You need to come in?
Yeah.
Okay, just a sec. Nope, Zoe, you can't come. You can't go. You can't go. Let him in. Let him in and you can say hi.
So I'm making a count for all the trim pieces. We're just doing the same as is in here.
Yep. Yep. Okay, guys, I'm back. Elizabeth, welcome. Happy to see you here. It's a crazy day. Crazy day. Well, we'll chat later, Vicki. Appreciate the kind words, Elizabeth. This is new territory for me. I do not normally do snippet rolls, so we are doing a little bit of a stretch here. All right. Cut finger's not going to slow me down, right? Although I might need to go answer a few questions here in a minute, so. Let's see. I'm not paying a lot of attention to my edges here. I need something not real thick. We can. I think I've got one more piece of this ribbon left, and we'll see if we can do that to the end.
I think you're just playing by him, but she.
Oh, did she get you?
She just.
Did you forget he was here? Zoe, did you forget?
It was just a play by her. She had been.
You okay?
Oh, totally fine. Yeah. Good.
You want to give her, there's cookies right in that little jar. Yeah. I think I can make it another half hour, guys. We'll see. Did you need anything else from me?
No, I just wanted to check on the trim.
All right. So Elizabeth, what are you working on today? Thank you, Mary. Yeah, so I don't recommend holding the lace this close when you snip with your scissors. Not a good idea. I don't like this fat thing right here, so let's do something else to it. Yeah, this might turn out to be just enough for what I needed to use up the little bit of lace that I took out, even though I've got so much more still here, but let's. And again, this glue is not expected to hold it permanently. This is just until you get to the sewing machine. All right. I've got one more piece of this. Wow, that finger smarts. Well, it's better than the time I was working in the garden and I got myself with the shears right in that webbing that you have between your thumb and your first finger, and oh man, that hurts. All right, let's see if we can zip through here. I have a half an hour. Yeah, when I'm done here, I'm going to go, do some soaking and hit it with some medicine and stuff. So I said I'm going to zip through this one and then call it a day, I think. Should have been using my duller scissors, except then I would have been frustrated because I wouldn't have done anything. I just wasn't paying close attention because my brain is just, I swear, it's fire fried right now. Absolutely fire fried. And of course, do I have any more of that here right now? No. Let's see. I do have, nope, that's different. See, I have all this colored lace, and I don't use colored lace that much, so maybe we will make these guys little so we balance it a little bit. All right. Yeah, it's just some pieces. They came on, I think, a box of candy. So they're short grosgrain ribbons. So there's not a lot of it to do a lot with. Okay, I'm not liking the way that's going to curl, so we're going to say no. So I figured it'd make a good base. I am happy to be using up a lot of this stuff, though. right, so this is different than the other. Well, I'm glad I didn't do that cut on my dominant hand. I can tell you that already. No self-surgery. This lace, it's hard to tell what's right side up. I think that's it. My eyes are getting so bad anymore. I was going to call my eye doctor this week to get another appointment to get some better glasses, but of course, everybody's shut down. And then I figure when things get back to normal, it's going to take a little while, but you know, you let the emergency things get done first. Yeah, maybe I should cut pieces when I'm not doing a live. I just realized how close I came to doing something again. Wow. Cutting little snippets would be a good thing for tea time. So we have been remodeling. We bought a fixer-upper house about 5 years ago, and we have been remodeling it and making it safe ever since. And we are coming up on the last of the big interior projects, which is we have just a little one-car garage here, and it was not connected to the house, which meant if you wanted to go and we store, and the house is small. We have more property than we do house. And so if you wanted something from the garage, like where you would keep the paper towels and toilet paper and, you know, pantry overflow, you had to go outside, which was not a big deal. I mean, because we are in California, it's not like we have extreme weather here. But we wanted to join the house to the garage, and then we're getting this little sunroom entryway, which is really nice. And I'm really happy with the way it's all coming together. But it's the last big thing. I mean, we still have to do the hearth and the mantle, and my husband's office needs not any wall stuff done. All the wall stuff has been done in there, but and then we need to finish a couple of the floors. You know, and we weren't going to do anything except that it didn't look like, you know, our area was going to be evacuated and was not in threat of a fire. So when the guys needed some work to do, it seemed like it's a good time to have them come over and do some stuff here. They hadn't been able to work for a while, of course, because of COVID. And we were kind of due for an inspection, I think, in another week, but I had to ask for an extension on that because they won't be done. A few little holes here. What's been really nice about the sunroom, because we've got, like I said, a glass door that separates it from the rest of the house. So our old front door became a glass door, but it gets very warm in there, of course, you know, hence we're calling it a sunroom. I guess in other parts of the country it would be a mudroom, but it's been a great place for me to put my pressed leaves and flowers to dry because it gets nice and warm. So stuff is drying a little bit faster when it was in there. But of course I had to move everything out when they wanted to come work. So I've got all my leaves are all sorted out all over my island in the studio, trying to figure out how I want to organize them a little better. I have some that are, you know, what I would consider perfect pressings so that I would use them in journals. And then I have others that are less perfect, so I would use those in my eco printing or my jelly printing. Brenda, happy to have had you here today. Thank you. Lucky you getting to spend some time with the grandkids. I got to talk to my grandson on the phone yesterday. His birthday's tomorrow, so I had a nice chat with him on the phone. Well, it looks like the visibility is getting worse over there in the fire area, but I do remember they said they were going to do some burns, so maybe they're Maybe they're starting their controlled burns. Let's see, just a little bit more, which will take me just about to the end of the lace that I have out here. It's not bad. I can see it would be very easy to go overboard and do way more than you needed on these, but I know I want to leave room for threads and moss because I like that kind of stuff. Something else that's a little different. Very glad I didn't do worse to my finger because, of course, all the medical facilities here in town are also closed, so we would have to drive quite a distance if we had to do anything with that, which would not be fun because I'm sure there are people that have much more important medical needs. So we will just be careful with scissors going forward here. That's something a little... This little piece here should work. Well, it doesn't look like I've reduced my scraps, but I know that I have reduced my scraps. All right, I think those are all, that's all covered. Yeah. So what do we have here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the long ribbons. Those are nice. It makes me so happy just to see all those leaves sorted out like that, but I know I need to go through again and now figure out, you know, what ones are the really, really nice ones. What I'm going to do, if I did a tab like this, but I just do it the same way, except I would need to use different glue. That's what we had discovered on that, huh? I don't know, guys. I think I might just call it. I think I need to go soak my finger and take some Excedrin migraine for this dang head that does not want to calm down. But I got 4 of the long strips done, and I got, whoops, okay, a little bit of touch up to do here. I think before I glue anything on those other ones, I think I need to try sewing a little bit on the sewing machine and see if it's okay sewing through that glued section. If it is, then I can make up a bunch of tabs or something like that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to use my Fabri-Tac, I think. Hey, Caroline. Yeah, I cut my finger. I think I need to go give it some attention, and I'm kind of distracted. Hope you guys are doing okay in your fire area up there. But I got a few things done. I got these are going to be little tabs, and these are some short snippets. So yeah, I think for my first time doing this kind of thing, I think I can use up some more scraps that way. Thank you again, you guys. Whoops, sorry for bumping the camera. Thanks for hanging with me while I needed some distractions today. And I hope everybody will stay safe in your areas. If you're in an area with the coming storms, please be safe. Pay attention to any kind of warnings. We are constantly on alert here in case we have to evacuate or something. And hopefully we won't have to. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.